Mecca and Medina Surah. Learning objectives. We have all studied how the noble Prophet, peace be upon him, migrated. He migrated along with his friend Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, in the 14th year of the mission. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his friend moved to a new place called Medina because they were facing difficulties and unkind treatment from the leaders of Quraysh tribe in Mecca. After escaping from the harm of the leaders of Quraysh and migrating to Medina, and after the noble Prophet, peace be upon him, along with his friends, arrived there safely, the Prophet began building the Islamic State. And we all know that the revelation of Allah Almighty to His noble Prophet, peace be upon him, is the Quran, and he never stopped coming to Prophet, peace be upon him, at any time. So some of the surahs of the Quran were revealed to the Prophet before the Prophet's migration, especially in the cave of Hira. We call these surahs Meccan Surahs because they were revealed in the city of Mecca. The surahs that were revealed to the Prophet after his migration are called Madinan Surahs because he was in Medina when they were revealed. Now, my children, let's study together and compare the Meccan and the Madinan Surahs. The Meccan Surahs are surahs that explain the pillars of Islam and topics regarding the beginning of Islam. An example of Meccan Surah is Surah Al-Ikhlas, which spoke of the invitation of Allah Almighty to worship Him alone and mentioned some of the attributes of Allah Almighty. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Say, O Prophet, He is Allah, one and indivisible, Allah the Sustainer, needed by all. He has never had offspring, nor was he born, and there is none comparable to him. Meccan surahs also call for the belief in the existence of Jannah, Jahannam, and the resurrection in the Day of Judgment. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And when the hellfire is fiercely flared up, and when paradise is brought near, on that day each soul will know what deeds it has brought along. Madinan Surahs are surahs that explain the rules of worship and interactions. An example of this is what came in Surah Al-Hajj about the Hajj pilgrimage to the sacred house of Allah, the Kaaba. In that surah, Allah said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, call all people to the pilgrimage. They will come to you on foot and on every lean camel from every distant path. Wonderful. Now, let's learn about the second point of comparison between Meccan and Madinan surahs in the Quran. Meccan surahs are surahs that discuss the beliefs and actions of the disbelievers, such as idol worship and the widespread injustice among them. An example of this are the verses regarding the abuse of orphans in Surah Al-Ma'un. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Have you seen the one who denies the final judgment? That is the one who repulses the orphan. The verses of Meccan surahs also contain responses to disbelievers and those who associated partners with Allah. They address what they used to say about the message and the Prophet, peace be upon him. This is mentioned in the following verses. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It is not the pose of a poet as you claim, yet you hardly have any faith, nor is it the mumbling of a fortune teller, yet you are hardly mindful. It is a revelation from the Lord of all worlds. As for the Madinan Surahs, they expose the behavior of another group that appeared in the Medina, the hypocrites. The hypocrites were a group that outwardly showed faith in Allah, the noble Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, but they concealed or hid disbelief in them. The Madinan Surahs told us about the actions of some people who pretended to be Muslims but secretly opposed Islam. One example of this is Surah At-Tawbah. We start reading in this surah with seeking refuge only. It is the only surah that we don't start by saying Bismillah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. If a blessing befalls you, O Prophet, they grieve but If a disaster befalls you, they say, we took our precautions in advance and turn away, rejoicing. And now, my beloved students, let's look at some questions about what we have studied in the lesson about Meccan and Madinan Surahs. Are you ready?